Okay, let's get into our agenda. Michael Voss has been appointed as the coach of Carlton. So after 4 tumultuous months for the club and 8 years rebuilding his credentials, Michael Voss and Carlton are now one.
We have unanimously selected Michael. Michael is a person of great integrity, great values. He knows what success and high performance really looks like. We think our list is really poised for great things when married up with those attributes and those skill sets.
It's a great honour to be coaching the Carlton Football Club. As someone who was a huge supporter of Carlton as a young guy coming through, quite nostalgic that I'm sitting here today. We're now on a new journey and a really exciting one. You know, I understand that we've got a really rich history as the Carlton Football Club. We've had some really great success. We'll embrace those expectations. I'm looking forward to obviously getting started and working with the players and stepping this up to hopefully get the success that we all want.
If we can shape this club around...
We might get the smirk update. See if Gary's drinking the Kool-Aid over in the West.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Okay, let's get into our agenda. Michael Voss has been appointed as the coach of Carlton. So after 4 tumultuous months for the club and 8 years rebuilding his credentials, Michael Voss and Carlton are now one.
We have unanimously selected Michael. Michael is a person of great integrity, great values. He knows what success and high performance really looks like. We think our list is really poised for great things when married up with those attributes and those skill sets.
It's a great honour to be coaching the Carlton Football Club. As someone who was a huge supporter of Carlton as a young guy coming through, quite nostalgic that I'm sitting here today. We're now on a new journey and a really exciting one. You know, I understand that we've got a really rich history as the Carlton Football Club. We've had some really great success. We'll embrace those expectations. I'm looking forward to obviously getting started and working with the players and stepping this up to hopefully get the success that we all want.
If we can shape this club around really good leaders, if we have leaders in every layer, top to bottom, they set the example, I'm sure that we'll certainly make some good progress.
We get to really shift the energy moving forward. We're going to ask everyone is to step up a little bit more. There's no doubt about that. We're not here to just be part of a group. We're here to be the best. And that's what as competitors we'll try and strive for.
So Michael Voss is now in the chair and he joins us on AFL360. Michael, congratulations and welcome.
Jared, Jack, thank you very much. Yeah, very exciting day.
I'm sure you've had a relentless afternoon, but have you had a moment to work out what the overriding emotion is that you feel?
Oh, I have. I mean, it was a pretty lengthy process. You know, it was initially really hard to get my head across based on the loss in the preliminary final that we had, and had to shift gears pretty quickly and started getting involved in the interview process, and then you start to cast your mind forward about what that might mean, and it does really mean that you get to reflect on your own personal journey. And you highlighted there, it's been 8 years since the last time I was a coach. It's been a real self-discovery over that time, and so to be able to fulfil a goal and in some ways a dream has been a really exciting day.
I admired that part of it enormously, Michael. There was huge demand for you in the media and there was a really obvious career which would have kept you committed to footy, but you stayed in the system and committed yourself. Did you have any periods of despair when jobs came up and you either weren't considered or didn't land them, and wonder if the industry would actually give you a second chance?
Yeah, I've had lots of those moments. I won't lie. There's been moments where it's felt like it's become really close, and then it's been ripped away. You know, I'd have even moments through this process where it was, you know, it might happen exactly the same way, and just when I felt like I was getting really close, you know, that last question was asked to Alistair again about whether he would coach Carlton. So it has been a bit of a journey, and I guess you know, why to come back to coaching and why such a passion. It's, you know, fundamentally I'm a competitor. You know, I love to compete, rightly or wrongly. I love that win-loss. Hopefully more wins than losses, and that emotional roller coaster that you go on. And I'm still trying to fill up that hole in the stomach that a competitor tries to fill.
Were there times where you felt like, oh, I've got to swallow my ego here and just relentlessly grind a path back?
I think it was all of that, Jared. It's but it's extremely humbling experience when you're told from your own club that you're no longer required, that you've had a really long history with and obviously a lot of experience, and then to sort of be told that you're no longer required. I mean, there's no more humility than that. And what was also important was to get back to work and obviously address some of the shortcomings that I might have had, and that's what I've tried to do over the last 8 years. And I've really gone to work on the leadership and that connection piece and the sense of belonging and bringing people together and how we communicate and how we build relationships. So it's it certainly hasn't been off a 1 month of work. It's been 8 years.
And Vossy, it's always a bit of a weird quirk of AFL football and sport when you see someone who you think is going to be in colours and you picture them being in that jumper. We see you in the navy blue for the first time, and some may think it is unfamiliar, but you grew up a blue supporter. What number did young Michael Voss wear on his back, and give the Blues fans a bit of an insight into who you loved growing up as a kid?
Well, I had number 7, and if it wasn't number 7, it was number 9. I picked some handy players with Wayne Johnson and Kenny Hunter. And I remember when I was in my first 2 years of playing, I was doing a signing on session at the Morningside Football Club, and my dad rushed through the door because he was president at the time, and he said, "You never guess who's arrived." And I'm like, who is it? He said, "Wayne Johnson." I was beside myself. I was like, "Send him through." He had his 2 young boys with him at the time. It was a very exciting experience. And then I hadn't come across Kenny Hunter, and 3 years ago, I saw Kenny at SEN, and I didn't know whether to cuddle him or shake his hand. It was a bit of a man crush moment, but I went with shaking the hand. So, no, they're very, very, very special memories.
And contact with the players, you're obviously in the infancy of the job, 1 day old, but have you reached out to the captain yet? Or the captains, sorry, and how does the process look from here, from actually integrating yourself into the club?
Yeah, the first point was obviously to get today out of the way and start to, obviously with the media duties, it's obviously quite large. Cast your mind forward around what you want your team to look like of assistant coaches, and Brad Lloyd's been around that with Greg Williams and driving that pretty hard. So getting across that, obviously trade week is coming up, so just trying to find out a little bit about where we're at with that. But yeah, also the communication piece, and I'm going to have lots of conversations with all the players, but exchanging text messages and phone calls with the captains, and I'm pretty keen to be able to make sure that I get around to as many as I possibly can over the course of the weekend and over next week.
So it's a big club, it's a demanding club, it's an impatient club, and it hasn't had success for too long. Will you be judged on whether you play finals next year?
Well, I'm sure I will be, whether I want to or not. But clearly there's an expectation here. We want to be able to maximise what we do have, the promise that has been built here, and obviously some of the potential that we do have. And one part of that's going to be trying to become better as a football team. And I certainly don't want to put a ceiling on that. There's been plenty of circumstances that may have prevented them being able to get the best out of themselves for now, but certainly that's one part. But the other part is this cultural piece, and if we're going to have some long-term success, then we need to be able to make sure that we address that for sustainable success. So, yes, there's the immediate, but we also have to have the view of how do we make our journey successful over the long term.
And these are not the easiest times to move life, Michael. Did you leave Donna yesterday saying, well, if this goes well, you'll have to pack up and I'll see you across the border one day soon?
Yeah, it was an indefinite. You probably saw from the bag that I packed, it was quite large. So with all things COVID right now, I've actually got no idea when I'm going to be back, other than I'll just have to follow the SA protocols on my return, and I'll have to quarantine like everybody else does. But I guess now I have a reason, certainly a purpose to be here, and I can sort of get lost in the work for the next couple of weeks. And when I left the other day, I kissed my wife saying I might see you after Christmas. I'm not sure when I'm going to return.
Yep. Michael, it's great to have you back in the coaching ranks. Well done, and good luck with the journey.
Thanks, gents. Appreciate it.
Michael Voss, the new coach of Carlton.
I reckon the luggage size there actually shows the confidence that he had to get the job. He backed himself. He wasn't just packing the backpack. It was the backpack plus the wheelie bag too, knowing that he's leaving the luxuries of South Australia and coming over here to Melbourne and everything that brings of it at the moment.